Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and this is your one-stop shop for sports picks, politics and government chatter, and even some neighborhood restaurant reviews. Instead of going to 3 different channels, you can come here every week for the Pulse on everything you need to know. And as mentioned on our social media platforms earlier this week, we're going to skip again our politics and pick segments, and we are here at the beautiful Monte San Giacomo Club located at 531 Adams Street here in Hoboken, New Jersey, and we're here with Angelo Square. They're both named Angelo. Easy for me to remember. Gentlemen, how are you?
Great. How yourself?
I'm doing great. Angelo?
Doing great.
Good to hear you, and we're so glad to be here. We're going to give them a little bit of an exclusive interview at the end, but one thing that I couldn't believe when we were pre-interviewing with Angelo, and by the way, this was Angelo Accetta's brain trust to come here. He reached out to us, and we're happy to be here, like we said.
Thank you for coming.
Of course, is that every one of your members, and we'll get into later on, you know, what it entails to be a member and all of that, but every one of your members has a key for the club? Is
Absolutely, yeah. Club's open up 24/7 for them. They're welcome to come here whenever they want. Any time of day, any time of night.
You fight with your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife, you got a place to sleep.
You got a place to stay, that's it. You got nice comfortable couches, you know, that's it.
Bathrooms and everything.
Bathrooms, a whole bar to yourself, drink your sorrows away.
Exactly. So folks, we're going to go inside. We're going to have an interviews with a few veteran members of the club, and then also with the 2 Angelos and Alex, another younger member of the club, we'll just say. Why don't we go inside and let's do it. Guys, you ready to roll?
Absolutely, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go. And we have 2 veteran club members here in Carmine Percantino. Carmenuccio, good to see you. And Frank Castella. Franco, come stai? Tutto bene?
Grazie.
Last week we had Alex Corrado on. We were speaking Italian. Today we have more paisans from my community. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Franco?
Very good.
Tutto bene?
Tutto bene.
Tutto bene, he says. Tutto bene. Now, Carmine, we'll start with you. As I mentioned, people walk by and they say, you know, what is this M. San Giacomo Club, as they say, you know, because they don't have the accent like we do. I was wondering if you can explain to the viewers what the club actually does on a month-to-month, day-to-day basis, year-to-year basis, and when it started and all of that. Some history.
Well, basically, it is a social club. It was started long ago. I'm going to let Uncle Frank talk to you more about that.
Okay.
But it's basically one of the only Italian social clubs left. In this town used to be rich. I mean, very rich with all type of social clubs, Hispanic, Croatian. I mean, there was countless of them, and many of them were Italian. Over the years, they've dwindled. I think we're like one of the only 2 left. And it's a sad thing, but at least we're trying to keep it going. To us, this is something that was started by our community, and as a place for them to come together, a place for them to come together to reunite, to have fun, play cards, do the things that they used to do back in Italy, and bring some of that home from Italy to here.
And of course, San Giacomo is the town in Italy where...
Correct.
Would you say that most of your members are from there? I'm sure you have outsiders, correct?
Actually, we have a bylaw in this club that...
Oh, they even have bylaws.
Oh, we have bylaws. We are.
That is official.
We are official as can be. So our bylaws state by the first founding 7 members that to become a member of this club, well, because back in the day, there was plenty of us.
Right.
So they had only suggested that you had to be born from the town, be a descendant of the town, or be married to someone from the town. And because when you become a member...
That's great.
And because when you do become a member of this club, you actually own it.
Okay.
So whether I'm here 50 years as a member, whether you come in tomorrow and become a member, you are a property owner of the club. This is why they decided to do this, not because of discrimination or anything like that people might think otherwise. It has nothing to do with that. But basically because if this club ever gets sold, it should go back to the people who founded it.
Very interesting.
That's never going to happen anyway, but...
and Franco, I have to ask you, the club has been around since 1935. Not that I had a peek over at the banner behind me, I knew that. So it's been founded since 1935. I'm sure you haven't been a member since 1935, but you have been a member for a number of years. In your time that you have been a member here, probably what, 50 years or so?
Well, I became a member in 1953.
1953, so more than 50 years, almost 60, over 60 years, God bless. So what has changed in these 60 years? I mean, besides possibly the clientele that comes in here and less people from San Giacomo.
Well, I got to say one thing, it changed very lot. It changed a lot. compared when I was a member here till now, because now things have changed. But when I became a member, we were about, let's say, first of all, we were paying the dues. Even though we were paying, it was about 25 cents. 25 cents a month. Then they increased it to about 75. Then they brought it up to $1. You know.
That's too funny.
So, and it's, it go on. So each member, as you know, probably, we used to do bar duty here. You know, bar duty, 2 members each week. We're supposed to do bar duty, take care of the bar, they clean it.
That must have been the best job. Forget about the cleaning.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Oh, you had to clean too.
We had to clean.
Oh,
Clean too,
okay.
yeah.
And we used to cook also.
Oh.
Every Saturday, the members, they do bar duty, they used to cook.
That's-
All right?
that's
And the club sponsored $35 for a night to cook. And we had a lot of good times. So members, they came to the club on the Sunday, especially on Sunday morning. The bar was full of members, you know, drinking and having a good time, you know?
That's cool.
So, I mean, it was a different thing at that time. Now, it's a little different.
And one of the things that people, of course, recognize in the Hoboken community, and it's been around for I think next year it's going to be the 110th anniversary, is the St. Anne's Italian Festival.
Yes.
And I wanted to touch upon that because St. Anne's Church was really, when I grew up, I know, was really the Monte San Giacomo Church. That's where all the Monte San
Right.
Giacomo people went to church. That's where I was baptized. I did my Holy Communion. I was confirmed and all of that. And I grew up in Uptown Hoboken, which wasn't that close. But I feel like it's evolved over the years. Am I right or wrong? So I was wondering, Kadmaduch, if you can give some aspect of how the feast came about and what it has evolved to this day.
Sure. I mean, originally, Uncle Frank could tell you even better than I can, but our church of St. Anne's was actually just a plot of land. It was purchased by our ancestors, I think back in the late 1890s, sometime, when at that time a lot of our co-paisan, a lot of the San Giacomo's people were immigrating here. And they wanted, again, and it's always about taking a piece of Italy and bringing it here so that this country becomes more your home, right? And they all immigrated to the same area. They all formed this community, which founded the club, which eventually bought the plot of land which St. Anne's sits on today.
So the club bought the plot of land.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting.
And it used to be a candy store, from what
A candy store.
guys like Uncle Frank tell me and have taught me over the years. And basically, they would have church service as a makeshift altar church, but because, you know, there wasn't that many churches. And the Italian community was kind of, you know, scorned in many ways back then, just like every other nationality that was immigrating to this country and still today, right? So what happened, make a long story short, they offered the land to the diocese, and the diocese agreed to build St. Anne's Church because in Italy, in our town, in Monte San Giacomo, our church, one of the main churches is St. Anne's, and it stands on top of a very high peak, and it's like 68 steps going to reach to the church. And basically, when you look at St. Anne's Church, the actual form of it, the architecture of it, is basically to mimic what we have in Italy. Ours is much smaller. This is a much grander church, but a lot of the donations came from Italy, from our town. So basically, we founded the church. We didn't actually make it. Obviously, the diocese, you know, did most of the money and everything else, but our community played a very large part in it. And it's a mark that I believe that we left in history, and I think it should never be erased. I think over the years, to make the church more friendly, the church has kind of taken away the articles that used to explain this before. And I get it.
Unfortunate, right?
I get it because, you know, you don't want people to say, well, this church is only for these people. No, of course, the church belongs to everyone, and with the new communities and the people coming into Hoboken now, the big influx of
Young urban professionals.
exactly right.
But like, as the old Hoboken is probably watching, we call them yuppies. We
No.
say it all here on the Post. Don't worry about that.
But,
Feel free.
but obviously to open the doors and to make them feel more welcome, you know, you don't want to put a stigma on it, saying almost to make them feel like they didn't belong. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right. I mean, all are welcome.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. And Franco, I'm sure that you've made zeppelis back in the day. Would you say that the recipe is from the San Giacome's?
I gotta say one thing, though. The zeppole was not a San Giacome's recipe.
Oh, okay. All right.
We make a different zeppole than San Anne's makes.
All right.
I mean,
And I'm sure they're better.
But we usually do visit St. Paul's.
That's
But
great.
what I want to say now, St. Anne's Feast, the club, we used to do the feast years ago. Not St. Anne's, not
So
the
you used to
church.
do the day-to-day of the feast. You used
We
to bring
used
in
to-
all the vendors and all of that?
You're right.
Gotcha.
We used to have, for the past 2 years that I was a member here, I remember we did the feast. Then all of a sudden, somehow the priest took over. And, I don't know what was I can't say, but they took over, and that's it. But the club sponsored the feast years ago.
Unbelievable. And more importantly, I mean, we only touched upon a small part of the Hoboken community, which is St. Anne's, and of course this great social club that's here. But I feel like the San Giacome's have brought so much history to the city of Hoboken and Hudson County as a whole. I mean, we're a county show here. I mean, Carmen, I was wondering if you could explain other aspects of the community that the San Giacome's have given to either Hoboken or Hudson County or the larger New Jersey scale.
I mean, when our ancestors first came, obviously they all came for the same reason. They came to provide better life, to have more opportunity in this country that they did not have in our little town in Italy. And,
Look, we are running a little low on time in this segment, and one thing that we're going to showcase in our next segment is the youth that's in this club. And I'm sure you guys are very, very proud of that.
Absolutely.
Because obviously nobody lives forever. And if they do, God bless. But certainly the youth coming in, is there anything that you want to say, to ancestors of maybe some folks from San Giacomo or anything like that, that you guys that might be watching in other areas that
Yes.
don't know that this club even exists?
Yes.
I mean, where they can find out more information about here and so on and so forth. We'll start with you, Carmine, then we'll move on to Franco.
Well, to all of you people out there who are San Giacome's, of San Giacome's descent, listen, you have a place that you can own. The club fees are $10 a month. It's 33 cents a day. So you can have a piece of property in Hoboken that's 33 cents a day. Become a member. We're looking for more members to keep our club going. We welcome you with open arms. So please, if you are or know that you are a descendant of anyone from the town, just come here. We will check your background, of course, and we will be able to tell you exactly who you belong to, what part of the family you might even get to know family members that you thought you lost. Right. So you know what? It would be a very wonderful thing if you guys can come and help keep this club going.
I was a chairman for 8 years. I was a financial secretary. In other words, I was a trustee. So we did a lot of things, during those years.
Wow, that's fantastic.
To reiterate, we have an actual administration, obviously, that runs the club. Presidents, vice presidents, and down the line, trustees, the whole bit. Uncle Frank has been unrelenting in his service to the club. I mean, I served as president for 8 years myself. There's a new president now. His name is Joe Fasanella, and and he keeps up the work very, very well also. And we all do our part. So, and it doesn't seem it, but it really is a lot of work. So, I want to. When it comes to guys like Uncle Frank, who did so much for the club over the years, my other people too that we can mention, Uncle Joe. I mean, Joe Lisa. There's so many people that over the years have kept this place running.
That's great. Well, Carmine Percantino, thank you for joining us as always. Franco Castella, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, folks. When we come back, we're going to have more members of the club from a little bit of a different generation. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned.
For 30 years, New York Waterway has been a trusted friend of the city of Hoboken by enhancing the everyday commute for thousands of city residents and by always answering the call during emergencies big and small. Now that reliability and comfort the ferries offer is in jeopardy. The Union Dry Dock facility is vital to the ferry's existence. You don't have to choose between reliable transportation and parkland. Learn the truth. New York Waterway and Hoboken are better together. Visit nywaterway.com/truth.
As mentioned, we are here with a little bit of a different generation. We don't want to call them veterans and rookies. We're just going to call it a different generation here. And we're here with my man, Angelo, another Angela, and Alex. Guys, thank you for joining us on the show. How are you doing today? You doing all right?
Great.
Pretty
Excellent.
great.
Good.
Having us.
Espresso, we're good to go.
That's right. And they got their little espresso over here. Of course, I'm not drinking it, but that's okay. That is okay. Gentlemen, you guys are a lot younger, let's just say. I mean, and I'm telling you, when people do walk by here, I mean, they usually see a bunch of, type of older gentlemen sitting outside. I mean, obviously, you guys are all from San Giacomo, because you kind of have to be, because you're from the bylaws that Carmine said to us in the last segment.
Members only.
I mean,
those bylaws.
what brings you into this club? and what type of movements do you see going forward? Because you are the future of this place. So.
Well, brings me into this club. So I'm actually the third generation member of this club from my family. I mean, you know, my parents were both born in San Giacomo. When we were younger, we used to go there every summer. They used to just let us go with our grandparents. So I spent summers up until 16 years old there every summer. You know, from June until September. To early September, we used to come back. And you know, just being part of this like a tradition and culture from that town, specifically from that town, is just like such an honor, such a great thing to have. And of course, we want to bring it as, you know, the young generation of this club. Exactly. We want to bring that, you know, towards more towards our family. But you know, it's just I can't really describe the feeling it is just being a part of this, like, you know, organization and club and town. You know, I'll let these guys take it.
And back off of Angelo, like, if it wasn't for this club, I wouldn't have this like relationship right here with these friends and stuff like that. Just a unique thing. I brought my wife there for the first time this summer, and she even like one time we were like at night. She was like, "You have something really lucky here. It's like something that you cannot find anywhere in the world because."
Salute, by the way.
You know,
it's unique.
It's very unique. Like we have something from here, and then you bring, you know, from somewhere from in a town, small town Italy, and that generation tradition here to the USA, and see how our parents came here and migrated here and that kind of thing. It's just something you can't find, and you can't even. It's something that you can't even make. It's something you're just born into, and it's very unique. Like you said.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Alex is representing the colors too, folks.
Exactly. I have to. God.
Forza Italia, Forza Giulia.
Absolutely. Forza Giulia. Sempre, sempre. But yeah, my mom's actually from the town. My dad's not from the town, but she came over when she was about like 3 years old. So it's more keeping the tradition alive. Angelo was one of my very first friends because our nonnos were very good friends. Drinking a little wine here and there, you know.
Being with San Giacomo 5 years old with him, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember, I'm actually the first generation of my family to join the club. My Papa Nonno passed away a couple of years ago, so I just saw this as an opportunity to get closer to the town and really grab the roots of my heritage and whatnot. And again, reconnecting with these guys is great. We're all family.
Who needs Ancestry.com,
exactly.
right? You know what I mean? We know.
We're all family.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And you know, guys, when I walked in here, I really felt like, you know, I belonged. Maybe because, like, as I mentioned before, my father's from San Giacomo, but I really felt like I belonged. It's a very comfortable atmosphere. I mean, you had the games on, you have EPL on today. Of course, they'll have Serie A on when it starts in a few weeks.
Absolutely. Milan.
Juve,
I'm a Juve.
and you're in Juve too. Now, I am a Milan, but my dad is a huge Napoli fan, so I have to say Forza Napoli.
Saluta Napoli, yeah.
Saluta sempre. So, you know, can somebody, if you have a person who might be around our age, because I am their age, you know, walk by, can they just come in? Will you accept them with open arms, or, you know, will you say, sorry, sir, club members only?
So this is actually my first year I got voted onto the administration as Sergeant at Arms, so I'm familiar with the whole bylaws and how that works. Strangers can't, just complete strangers can't come up on the street. You have to be a guest of one of ours, a close, you know, friend, acquaintances, something like that. You know, we could, of course, invite you in. This year is actually our first year. We actually had our dart team, our first San Giacomo dart team, Summer League. And, you know, we didn't do that well. I think we had like 5th, 6th place, but still, we had other bars from Hoboken. We had, you know, come here. We had Northern Soul come here. We had William McBride's. We had Mulligan's come here, and every bar that came here, they just felt so at home. You know, having couches, TVs, a bar all to themselves. They just had a great time, and you know, they wanted to keep coming back. You know what I mean? So of course, I took down their emails and, you know, cell phone numbers. So when we have events, I will of course send a message out to them now that I know them. You know, and of course they're welcome back now.
That's great.
You know, so
that's absolutely fantastic.
It is. It's a great thing. Yeah.
I mean, and would you say Angelo Segundo? Would you say or Primo? I don't want to say, you know.
He's older. So yeah.
Okay. Angelo Segundo. Would you say that, you know, it's really just it's like a home away from home? I mean, like you mentioned, you come from a very small town. What is the population of San Giacomo in Italy, by the way?
Oh man,
everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody.
Tell me about it. Everyone knows everyone. It's like
because
that.
I run into San Giacomese here in the city of Hoboken, and they all know me. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
something goes on in that town, everybody knows.
Everyone knows
exactly.
about that.
Would you say that you know it's really like an open community, and you know, as Angelo says, you don't obviously bring in strangers, but you're bringing in bars and things like that.
Yeah.
Would you say that, look, you want to come watch watch the game, La Partita, you know, you can absolutely come here, correct?
Yeah, so we have like Carmine, he like cooks on Monday nights, so we do like Monday Night Football, so we do dinners here on Mondays with like a bunch of, so we try to bring like outsiders in too, like our friends from work and like, you know, just our close friends to bring them here, like outsiders that are non-members, and they have a great time here, you know, drink a lot of wine, we have good food, homemade.
Coworkers love coming here.
Yeah, they love it, so.
And I know Hoboken many times, and Hudson County in general, is lacking event space. Do you guys rent this out to everybody, or you have to be a friend of the club, or rent it out to anybody, or you have to be a friend of the club, or what have you? You're on the administration, Mr. Sergeant.
This is kind of like a, I'm really not going to dive into the whole renting a club out and stuff like that, but I do know for members that want to have, you know, parties here or stuff like that, of course it's welcome to them, absolutely. Now when it comes to outsiders wanting to rent the club out, I really can't tell you much more about that. But for members, yeah, absolutely. If they want to throw a party here, sure. I had my wedding here when I married my beautiful wife, Liana Acheta. We got married at St. Francis, and we came here for the after party and had our family here. So
look at that.
Yeah. So
I mean, you want to talk about close to home? I mean, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
And Greg will get some B-roll for the show, but you know, obviously we have pictures of the old town in Monte San Giacomo, which is fantastic. We have these really cool looking flags and things like that. We have people playing. Scopa, excuse me. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Scopa over here. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you know, is there anything that you guys want to add? I told you most of our audience is from the Hoboken Hudson County community here. Anything you want to add, Angela? We'll go down the line here.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to add, so you guys are all familiar, obviously, with St. Anne's Feast, you know, in Hoboken, of course. St. Anne's Feast in San Giacomo was a completely different feeling. Like actually being over there and experiencing it, because it was originated from Monte San Giacomo, our town over there. So going over there, you know, and experiencing that whole week of just festivities over there is an amazing feeling. And I always felt like, you know, I wanted to create a hashtag like, you know, visit MSG almost, you know, for that week in July, just to give our town like that sense of like, you know,
that's great, by the way.
The opportunity, just the opportunity to show like, hey, Hoboken, this is where St. Anne's Feast originated from. You know, come take a look over here. Come spend some time in our town now. Which our town finally opened up some hotels now. We have Airbnbs in our town now. So I always feel like I always try to invite people like Hoboken, friends and family, you know, to come visit the town during the summer just to get a sense of what it's like over there. You know, so that's my message, yeah, for any Hoboken.
Angela?
Yeah, I mean, to back off Angela, I agree the same thing, because I tell my friends all the time, you go to Italy, like you can go to Rome, you can go to Florence. Those are tourist spots. That's not Italy.
Exactly.
Like, when you come to San Giacomo, this is Italy. Like you're experiencing like the most amazing, authentic part of Italian heritage, like, and tradition. So that's one of my things that I would love to do something like that. And it's just to get younger members involved with our club, try to do more things with like the new like maybe Facebook and Instagram, trying to get more pushing that social media and that kind of things. So yeah, I mean, that's what I...
Alex?
Exactly. Like what we have is really special. Not everyone can say they've gone to Italy, hiked up a mountain, and gone asparagus picking with their cousins. That just doesn't happen. So, like I said, what we have is something special. We want to keep the tradition alive. I know I'm trying to get my brother to join the club because, as his birthright, he should.
Exactly.
So, exactly, we're just trying to get younger members and, you know, keep it as close to family as possible, you know?
That's absolutely fantastic, guys. Angelo Squared and Alex, we thank you for joining us so much. Folks, when we come back, we're going to have a little bit of a special surprise for you. There's going to be, you know, we usually do food reviews on this show. So there's going to be a little something. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned, everybody.
New York Waterway values the rich history of Hoboken's working waterfront and the modern-day importance of preserving green space. Plans for our Union Dry Dock facility will incorporate the best of both, with a state-of-the-art ferry maintenance facility and expanded public use of the waterfront, with a promenade, fishing pier, and kayak landing. You don't have to choose between reliable transportation and parkland. Learn the truth. New York Waterway and Hoboken are better together. Visit nywaterway.com/truth.
Welcome back to the show, and we usually like to do a Places with Peter B segment where we're visiting different restaurants with Daria DeLucia or Krista or Mai, who we miss, and we're going to have them back on the show very, very soon. But now, I'm walking in the kitchen here of the Monte San Giacomo Club, and we have, joining us again, Mr. Carmine Percantino, making, from what I understand, is a dish, Angela will agree with this too, is a dish that can only be found in Monte San Giacomo, Italy, that we brought over to the United States. Carmine, I want you to explain what you're making here, buddy.
Okay, so this is a peasant food, or what they called a peasant food. Back then, you know, you were poor, you really couldn't have too much to eat in Italy. So potatoes, of course, hey, it's a poor man's meal, right? Potatoes and beans. So what we do is our version of basically mashed potatoes. Except it's a heck of a lot better.
So mashed potato, but come on, it looks orange. What's the orange with?
Yeah, so what they do is we put paprika, we put onions, we put...
La povera, my grandmother says.
La povera italiana.
There you go.
Usually sweet red pepper. We don't like to put paprika that's too spicy because then it gets too hot. We do mix a little in there when you want to jazz it up a bit. But also you do fried peppers with these and you put the fried peppers on top. Oh, it's unbelievable.
And look at this, Alex and the other Angelo and Franco were nice enough to set up an Italian dinner here, complete with vino and with salute, sempre. Yeah, absolutely.
Frank, where's your glass, Frank?
I know. Hold on. Ciandan, as we said. Oh, he doesn't drink anymore. It's okay. You're gonna have a sip, folks. Last week when we had Alex Corrado on, I said that we usually don't drink wine. Now we're making this 2 weeks in a row. I mean, if I'm out of a job, I'm not blaming anybody. What's up? Is this homemade? It's got to be homemade, no?
We usually do have homemade wine here all the time. Yeah, this might be absolutely. Yeah, we have so many members that make homemade wine.
That is absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Now, Angelo, by the way, Angelo was our brain trust for bringing us over here. He did reach out on our social media page, and we're so happy that we did come. Like I mentioned, it did bring me back to my roots and so on and so forth. Angelo, when you told me such an interesting story. You were just in Italy, correct? With the Patane Cicci.
Yes.
And you were at a restaurant. Go ahead, explain your story. I don't want to ruin it.
I took my wife to Italy this year. We went to Rome, and I was sitting in a restaurant, and I actually, a waiter, I was like, can I get a plate of Patane Cicci? And he looked at me like I had two heads. Now, so being 31 years old, I never had a clue that this dish could only be found in Monte San Giacomo. So when I got to the town, and my cousin, who's the mayor of the town, Raffaele Cetta, I asked him, I was like, I was in Rome, and I was trying to look for Patane Cicci. And he started laughing at me, and he goes, you're not going to find it anywhere else in Italy but here. And I just thought that was, like, amazing, and how it just adds on to the uniqueness of this, how, this club is and our tradition and culture over there. So it was great.
It's absolutely phenomenal. And I have to tell you, my grandmother, who I love to death, is not from San Giacomo, but does make this because she learned from my grandfather, God rest his soul. And she always tells me, look, you know what? I don't know how to do it like the San Giacomese, but I'm damn close. So it's always a funny story. Now, would you say that this is a meal? You go into one of your cousin, aunt, uncle's house or one of your relatives' house. Would you say that this is a common meal, in a San Giacomese household?
I mean, absolutely. I'll let my Uncle Carmine take a hold of that one because, he loves making it.
I mean, it used to be more common. I guess as the generations change, it becomes a little less.
I'm going to serve, don't worry.
It becomes a little less common, but the traditions keep on. And every so often, you just have to have that taste of it because you miss it so much. And again, because it was such a common food, because they were so poor, it was made quite often. As a matter of fact, now once a year in Italy, they have what they call the Sagra. Sagra is like a festival of the Patane Cicci.
It's like a chili cook-off, except Patane Cicci cook-off.
Exactly. So all the people of the town, they all make their own versions of it, their own like little, put their own little pizzazz in it and just try to jazz it up a little bit. But it's very, very good. And please enjoy the meal. And let's all.
So now, moving on over to Alex and Angelo. I mean, did you guys grow up on this stuff or what?
100%, yeah. Like my grandpa always made this, and just we grew up as a childhood here, like coming and doing dinners here. So this was like our main dish that we would love and would ask for all the time.
Right? Nice. As Carmine said, it's peasant food. Either it's Patane Cicci or polenta.
By the way, there is no other club. There is, as Carmine mentioned much earlier in the show, there is another club here. It's called the Juventus Club. It's a lot of people who are fans of the team, and a lot of people from the region of Bari, from what I understand. Puglia, excuse me, yes. You won't see Patane Cicci in the Juventus Club, though, right or wrong? No. All right, didn't think so. More fish, yeah, a lot of fish dishes. That's exactly right. Well, folks, we want to thank you for joining us. We want to thank the wonderful members here of the Monte San Giacomo Club, Alex, Angelo, Franco, Angelo, my God, a lot of vowels today. And, of course, Carmine. And, thank you for your hospitality, guys. Salute, absolutely.
Thank you.
Salute. We hope to be back here in a future show. Maybe we'll come back on a Monday Night Football show. You never know.
Future member, Pete. Remember that.
And yes, I will sign the application.
It's only 33 cents a day.
And it's only 33 cents a day to join. Folks, join us next week for the Pulse on everything you need to know. Have a great week, everybody.
Salute.
Salute.